What is going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video. And as you guys seen, I've been covering a lot of modern districts in Jakarta. And this time I want to explore a little bit of some of the historical places, like the older parts and probably some regular neighborhoods. So I'm going to start off my video walking towards Merdeka Square, where they got the Monas monument, where it's kind of like a monument that resembles a huge symbol in Indonesia. And it resembles like the struggles for Indonesian independence. So I want to head towards that park to see the monument. It's one of the things that pops up when you Google Jakarta. And then I'm going to figure if I can hop in one of the trains and make it to an area that a lot of people recommend me to check it out, which is Kota Tua, which is like an old historic district. And I think it has like a lot of Dutch architecture. And I'm a fan of older architecture. So I'm going to check it out over there, and maybe I'll make it towards the Chinatown area, which is around, and see what other neighborhoods I can cover. So fortunately, it's my last day in Jakarta, but I really want to come back here and explore more, because this city has a lot to offer. But let's enjoy this video. So without further ado, join me. This over here is Sudirman. I think the park should be like a little bit ahead. Not sure how the infrastructure of this road is going to be, because I haven't walked towards this direction. I walked towards the other side by Bundaran. Over here, it seems like they're developing the area. The weather's unpredictable. It can rain, it can stop. Right now it's pretty warm, but just in case I brought my umbrella, because it's rainy season in Jakarta. I think it goes all the way till March, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, better to be prepared. But I'm looking at the clouds and I don't think it's really gonna rain, but just in case, you never know how it is over here in the tropics. So over here, it seems like they're doing extensions to the MRT, because, you know, it only goes towards Bundaran High and then it goes to southern Jakarta. But I think they're gonna keep extending it more towards North Jakarta. So very good. Like I say, little by little, here you can see one of the renderings of the stations. So the city keeps developing and moving forward. And you can see some of the modern high-rise buildings that we got. But more ahead should be the local park. But here they got like a monument, like a little statue, and I can see the Monas monument. And the other side, I think I gotta cross this way to make it towards there. And the good thing, they're making like a subway stop, an MRT stop here. That's gonna be pretty epic. The stops over here, then it takes you right into Merdeka Square. Here you see some of the developments of Jakarta. Huge, massive urban sprawl. So I just got inside the park, yo, a lot of police out there. I think there's like an activity, because I see the bus over here. Not sure there's gonna be like an activity or a parade for police, but I want to make it in front of the Monas monument. You know, I've always seen pictures of it when I was a kid, teenager, growing up back home. So an honor for me to be out here and check it out in person. Also, you could go all the way to the top, but I'm not sure if you got to book your tickets in advance. I don't even know if I want to go to the top, but I just want to check it out from a distance right here. The local park, they even have an area with souvenirs of this. So yeah, pretty spacious park. And then ahead of me is going to be the monstrosity. I think it's over 430 feet tall. Here it is. To be honest, this video or pictures are not really doing justice to show you how massive this is. I can see the people underneath like ants. This thing is all the way high up there, so tall. Oh, they even have a trolley. I guess it could guide you around, drive you around and all of that. So, oh, that's cool. But yeah, this is a touristy area, and this is where I try to say Jakarta right here in Southeast Asia. Super underrated, man. A lot of people, they choose to skip this city, but this city has a lot, you know, from modern developments, from rich history, good culture, good food, and very affordable. I think this is a city that you should come at least once. So I'm just gonna hit it in front of the Monas monument and see what is the vibe over there. There it is behind me, the Monas monument. Now I'm gonna head towards the plaza to see what's happening. Seems like they have a lot of school kids out there. But then around, they got a beautiful park. But here, see, park filled in cobblestones, and they got like a plaza over there, palm trees. It seems like they redeveloped this area to make it nicer. Yo, this is actually a massive monstrous park. Tell you, the map doesn't really do justice, and a lot of police passing by. But yeah, I want to cross towards that side and see what are the vibes. And then surrounded by some of the buildings. I heard if you go on top, you get a nice view of Jakarta. But now let me check out what's going on over here in the sculpture. So I'm also putting interesting characters Met a couple of them, very good English, but they might be like tour guide. I'm not sure if, they try to get more money, especially because rarely foreigners come over here, so they're kind of shocked to see somebody from from Puerto Rico coming out here. They're like, what are you doing out here? I'm like, I'm exploring Jakarta and YouTube, documenting my experience out here in Jakarta. But very friendly people so far. I want to make it towards where that monument is and see what are the vibes, But so far I'm loving this park, and this is just like the beginning of this video. How you doing, sir? See how friendly the people are? Look at the beautiful modern buildings of Jakarta. I'm staying here with those similar semi-finished twin towers, and then this is the Monas right here. So you can literally go all the way in the top. But my question is, how do I get over there? Is it only for students? Like, I want to get by the stairs. Maybe I just got to go around, or maybe it's closed only for students and reserved. I don't know. Well, if I can't go over there, then that's okay, because at least I can enjoy this view right here. And this is crazy. I just spotted a basketball court, and somebody is like shooting hoops right there. But I don't think basketball is big over here in Indonesia. It's big in the neighbor Philippines. I think one of the biggest sports here is football. Any Indonesians, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's some of the major sports that is played out here in Indonesia. But little shocked to see a basketball court right there. I think, damn, so here's probably the main entrance of the Mana, but I don't think there's a way I can get in. So I guess the most you can see is from right here. But that's okay, because I have other plans for the day. I'm gonna head towards Kota Tua, take the train, and then probably explore around the area to see what is going around there. But so far, I love this area. Thank God the weather is stable, not raining, and it's not super hot. See how massive the park is, and then, yeah, I guess the Mana, which is right here. So yeah, so far it's looking actually pretty dope. So unfortunately, I can't go around where the Manas is. I'm not sure if they have it reserved for the kids, but that's okay, because I got plenty of other plans for today. It's my last day, and I'm trying to make the most off of Jakarta, man. This is one of the few cities where I feel like I ran short. Like I came in a short time, because people keep recommending me in the comments to try, other areas over here. So I'm just gonna have to come back to Jakarta and keep exploring more. I'm not gonna be able to make it to pick 2 or other areas, but I want to come back and explore this metropolis out here. It's a jewel in Southeast Asia. So now one of my next missions is to make it. I know it's a little bit of a walk from here, but to make it towards Gongjangia train station. Not sure if I'm saying it right, so please forgive me, my beautiful Indonesian followers. But I think that's the best way for me to take the train towards Jakarta Kota, which is the last stop. And then I want to check out the train station there. I heard it's pretty beautiful in some of the main train stations. But meanwhile, I want to show you the basketball court that is happening right here. And then here, see, it's wet right now, but they have a football field and then a basketball court. I'm not sure how tall the hoop is, but this was shocking to me, because like I say, I don't think basketball is a big deal here in Indonesia, but it's good to see a basketball court here, so maybe they can practice more on some hoops. So here we got, look how nice the park is, and the weather, like I say, is perfect. So besides it being a rainy season, I guess just keep track of the rain, because if it's super hot or summertime, it will be hard to explore this park here, especially when it's open up in the air. And then if you think about Indonesia, especially Java, they got this pretty dope buses. I've been seeing them on social media. I'm not sure these are sleeper bus, but they have a lot of them that will take you around the island, Yeah, I think these are just the regular bus, but they even have sleeper buses that go all the way to other parts of Indonesia. So I'm outside the park walking a local area. So I just got to find my way towards the train station that will take me towards the last stop, Jakarta Kota, explore around there, and then check out the famous Kota Tua. See what you get over here. The sidewalks look pretty decent, and the buildings are good. Even though it's not brutally hot, it's still a little bit humid, so you can still feel the sweat. There's a train line that passes over here, but I don't think that's the line that I gotta take. I gotta take the red line of the commuter line. I think it's called KAI. I could be wrong, but yeah, it should be somewhere over that way. And then I'll figure how do I buy the tickets and how do I ride that train. We're here pretty busy, a lot of traffic jam. Then a block there, I can make a right, then another left, and this will take me towards the train station. The train station is not even far from our accommodation. So now I made it to this little tiny street. Pretty local, but I know this street will take me straight towards the train station, So this is another line that I haven't taken yet. I've taken the LRT, the MRT. So I'm excited to see how this one looks like. And then even over here, the streets are nice, even though it doesn't have as much crowds, but you can see how they have it nice and well paved. It's mostly like office buildings and hotels around here. They got like a lot of street food and street vendors. I think it's near the train station. Also the tuk-tuks. I guess if you exit the station, they can take you around. So pretty busy, but I gotta figure where do I get into the train. Also literally right here, Gongdangia. So yeah, gonna figure out how do I catch the train, be aware of the motorbike. It's very cool what they have around here. So it seems to be the exit. So I'm gonna figure the entrances in the other way. As you know, how do I get in? How do I buy the tickets? Let's see if the customer service here is super helpful, like the LRT and the MRT, which I'm pretty sure they are. So I'm gonna figure how it is and how much it is. So I just purchased a ticket over here. 50,000 rupiah plus 10,000 balance inside. So hopefully this is like back and forth. This is what one of the regular stations looks like. So the train leaves at 12:26. So I got what, like 12 minutes to wait. And they got areas where you can sit down. So that's very good. Yeah, very helpful staff, you know, willing to help and pretty easy. So you just buy a tapping card and I think you can refill it. So that's very good to know. I think with this card, you can also take the commuter all the way to the airport. So pretty easy. And I'm still trying to get familiar with purchasing tickets over here. But like I say, the employees are super, super helpful. And after these little long walks, man, it gets humid. So I start sweating. So I'm gonna have to head to a store later and purchase some water or some refreshments. I don't know if you can hear me, but they were having the prayers outside behind me. So made it in the train, you know, pretty good air conditioning, you know, and it's running pretty fast. So let's see how long it takes me to get towards the last stop. This is what the train looks like, the chairs. Pretty soft, but pretty comfortable. And this goes all the way towards Bogor. But it's about 2 hours from here, so pretty good way to commute around. To the last stop. It's like a different vibe over here. You can see people literally living in the tracks, near the tracks. But I'm excited to check out the local old part of Jakarta. Like I said, it's a city of contrast, but the people here, they're being amazing. So this is the last stop here, you know. Now I'm excited to check out the train station. I made it here. This is reminding me a little bit of some of the railways in New York, like Long Island Railroad, the New Jersey Transit. This is like the Indonesian version right here. See, you can take these trains. These are actually even better. They're more comfortable, more spacious, and they run actually pretty efficient. And now let's check out Jakarta Kota station, and then we're gonna head out to the famous Kota Tua. This is the famous Jakarta Kota station. It's an old train station, but I think it's pretty iconic. And look at the architecture, how beautiful it is. Yeah, pretty simple. So I think once I make it outside, I should be right in the tourist attraction. If you know a little bit about me, you know I'm a huge fan of train stations like this. And it's pretty beautiful though. But now let's see if this takes me towards Kota Tua and check out some of the old architectures, and then I'm gonna make it to the other side towards Chinatown. And then this is what you get outside the train station. You're gonna admire some of the beautiful architectures. It seems like they're trying to renovate this plaza over here. But yeah, see, they're gonna modernize it. I see also like a water fountain over here. Kind of giving me a semi-vibe of Intramuros in Manila in the Philippines, but this is, you know, in Jakarta, like they got their own old city. So this was one of the areas that I wanted to explore when I come to Jakarta. And here you see the fountains and everything and some of the old architectures. Feels like if you're transported back in time, and it seems like they're gonna modernize the station right here. I want to show you like the outside of the train station. Even though you know it's an old building, but I'm a huge fan of old architecture. So right here you can take this train all the way to Bogor. So it's good that it connects you, you know, to city that's a little bit far from the Jakarta. But I think Bogor is still part of Metro Jakarta, so that's why this whole metropolis makes up a population of 42 million people. It literally surpassed Japan in terms of population. And this over here is Jakarta Kota train station. So, and then you can see some of the renderings of the modern that they're gonna build. I don't know if you can see clearly they're building, not sure they're building like new train lines. I think the MRT might pass by here. Yeah, see MRT Jakarta, so it's gonna connect all the way here to this area. Hey Kitty, you remind me of Capita. How are you, Cap? You good? How are you, son? So look how nice and modern the station is gonna be. Connecting different, train lines over here, MRT with Kota Tua. So in the future, the city is gonna be really good in terms of mass transit, has a lot of potential. To be honest, I think a lot of foreigners who come to Jakarta, not just Bali. Like I say, Jakarta has so much more. Indonesia has so much more than Bali. They got like a lot of cities all over. So over here, I'm gonna cross the street and admire some of these old architectures right here. You can see this. It looks like a parliament. BPI, I guess it's gonna try to get a close up of the architecture right here. Over there, it says Netherlands. I guess, yeah, Netherlands. Like I said, it's all mostly like Dutch architecture. We're gonna go towards the other side. So I think here ahead of me it's gonna get nice, but look at this building. So it's Museum Bank Indonesia, but I'm loving this architecture. And they even have designated bike lane area. So right here you can see how nice it is. I think from over here I'll get a nicer shot. And you got the architecture and all the motorbikes over here combined together. And this is like in a very local area. Now I think if I make it ahead, it's where the plaza is. I'm just wandering around. They also have like a canal over here. The architecture is actually pretty gorgeous. And then here we are in the inside. It looks like a pedestrian area. I think it gets much nicer ahead of me, and that's where it's gonna get busier. Just gotta be careful with some people that they claim to be tour guides, and they speak a very good English. Especially if you're a foreigner, they'll try to take most off of your money. But that happens literally like everywhere you go. But so far, the entrance over here is looking actually pretty nice. Well, you got a cat there. Is that the security of the building? And then here we are literally in the heart of Kota Tua, where a lot of people recommend me to check it out. I like the architecture, it's gorgeous. So you can sit outside, have a meal, have a coffee. They got more over here. I just gotta go around. And it literally feels like if you just enter another country now, but this is Indonesia. I'm not gonna lie, this area here is kind of reminding me a little bit also of Vigan in the Philippines, like the same style. Like they got the well-paved roads and beautiful architecture over here. So, it's actually pretty gorgeous. I really love the architecture, how nice it is. Wow, see? This is the type of place that I like, for those who are new to the channel, I'm a huge fan of architecture, whether it's modern or old architecture. So this was one of the top places that I wanted to come when I came here to Jakarta. Over here's where the main attraction is. So this is where they got the famous bicycles. I'm not sure why they put it like in a pink color, but they got performers over here. It's a huge, massive plaza, and I can walk towards that way and connect me towards the canal. But this is actually like the main attraction that's happening right here. Mostly like a lot of young kids hanging out, so I think it's gonna be actually pretty epic. But let me show you the view ahead of me. You got like this over here with a nice architecture and a 360 view of what's going on right here. And the colorful bikes. It seems like they do like a lot of school field trips, because they bring like a lot of young kids over here. There's a lot of group of kids over there taking pictures where this building is like a governmental building. And I guess you can rent the bikes and bike around the area. And they got this over here. And then behind me, this is like the main attraction of Kota Tua, but there's kids over there, taking pictures. But pretty nice area out here. Look at the kids. The bicycles are epic. They have like this shiny color, yellow, and then they got the pink colors over there. And then mostly the kids, they just get the bikes and they bike around. See? Look how dope it is. I love the outfits that they're wearing too. It's pretty nice. But if you look around here, it's mostly like beautiful turns of architecture, so pretty nice. I just want to get a close-up of these bikes over here. Not sure if that's the owner, but it's looking, it's looking actually pretty dope. But yeah, like I say, this city is actually pretty underrated, and I wish more people would come and experience Jakarta. It has a lot to offer out here. All the bikes right here, look how nice they are. And this area here is super pedestrian. I want to get where the Indonesian flags are. But there's somebody over there, so I don't want to like really like video bomb them. Then this building over here is nice too. Cool, feels like you're back in another country. So I'm gonna go towards this way, because there are some pretty nice, impressive architectures happening. There is one building that looks just literally like the one you'll see in Intramuros or Vegan, like the same corner architecture and the same structures of buildings out here. They're right here in front. I think it's actually pretty nice. This is a bank, I think. A little close up. Seems like they got some desserts, but in the building it's pretty nice. And then here in the bottom they got a KFC, so they got like fast food joints. Pretty busy. Look at this building over here, how iconic it is. And then these are the bikes. I guess they own it and you could just rent it and bike around, but I'd rather just walk. But like I mentioned in my previous video, Jakarta to do like a lot of cities have like modern bikes. Get like a app, you know, download the app and then rent the bikes and bike around the whole city, because a lot of streets here are pretty bikeable. Here you go, you see. This is the building I say, it looks like if you're in Intramuros. It seems like it's a coffee shop. And then over there they got like a lot of nice, you know, architecture going on around. And over here you see more foreigners on the other side. Let me walk over here to see what's happening in the street ahead of me. You can see how busy it is. A guy there performing and singing, and then a lot of cool things happening in this neighborhood. This is the tourist information center, the pedestrian side. The thing about this, I don't think it's really that big, but we're gonna find out. Then you got a couple of, I think if you go over that way, it's more local. And I see a bridge being built up, so I'm not sure if it's a train. What is this? A lot of kids hanging out here. And there should be more on the other side. And this over here is a dope area. A lot of restaurants. Oh, they sell sugar cane here. I'm gonna get towards the gate to see what is the view that I get ahead of me. But I think on the other side of the gate is just mostly like a local area. Then I'm gonna walk towards this way ahead of me, because I think this nice architecture and the canal should be in front of me. And they got a fast food joint. And of course, this is like the 7-Eleven of Indonesia, a convenience store. And then you see the beautiful terms of architecture. And here they got the canal. And the building on the other side looks actually gorgeous. Let me take a little peek at this canal right here. So yeah, this is what you get. You can cross it over here. You can cross it in the other side. So I think I'm about to do that. So I'm gonna make it towards the other side to see what are the vibes, because I'm noticing some pretty gorgeous architecture. Look at this. You cross the bridge and then you get this architecture right here. And I think if I walk in some of the regular streets, it'll take me into a super local area. I know Chinatown shouldn't be far from here, and that's where I'm gonna make it next. I'm gonna try to walk straight. I think I gotta make it right. And then it should be taking me towards Chinatown. And I think I'm gonna hop back in the train and make it towards another district where they got like a market. I think it's super local, so I wanna see what it looks like. I think if I walk the street straight, a couple of blocks down should be Chinatown of Jakarta. And you guys know, if I travel to many cities, not only I like to check out the train system, but I like to check out the Chinatowns to see how different they are. You know, every Chinatown in every city is pretty unique. I think over here is going to be actually pretty local. Over here is super local area. I know if I walk straight towards that way, it would take me to Chinatown, but it's crazy the traffic out here. Here is super local, and I think they're developing the street towards my left. So there's mostly people selling their products. It's nothing crazy over here, but I think ahead of me should be something interesting for me to check out. I'm not gonna lie, this area reminds me a lot of Manila. Like the same buildings and architecture over here, but I can smell the food. I think this area is known for street food. I don't know how clear you can see, but look at the buildings. It literally looks like if you're in Recto heading towards Divisoria. But this is literally like the northern part of Jakarta. Look at the alleyways here. And the tall buildings, and it's pretty cool. And here I gotta watch with the ceiling, you know, I'm a little bit over 6 feet, so I don't wanna hit my head with this. So they're doing what they gotta do to repair. I don't know if they're building the MRT under this, or they're just fixing up the road, but it looks actually pretty cool. And then they got this pedestrian alley for you to walk in, so Pretty cool concept that they got going on. So not really much people, but I think what I see like a little bridge ahead of me should be the Chinatown district. So I'm gonna stroll around the street and then I'm gonna head back towards the train. I think I'm gonna do one more stop, explore another area that I wanna check out, and then for this season, I think that's gonna conclude my Jakarta series, but the city has a lot to offer, so I'm just gonna have to come back and explore more. And here it is, Chinatown Jakarta. So it's like this main road over here. And I already see the decoration because I think in a few days it's Chinese New Year. So let's stroll around here to see what is going on. So this is the street I've heard is pretty known for great food. But right now it looks actually pretty chill. So they got a couple of businesses here, and then they got the, they got like the ceiling that covers up. Notice a lot of halal food too. And then on the other side, they got the decorations, for the New Year. So I'm gonna cross the other side later, but I want to explore like this side over here. So it's literally like a different vibe when I was walking in the other side of the street to right here. A little bit of a nice contrast, but yeah. So I don't think it's really that big of a Chinatown. It's just this road comparing to the Chinatown in New York. That's a couple of blocks in the entire neighborhood. This is what you get right here. This is the ceiling, and they sell, products. Maybe there's something more interesting ahead of me. So here we got more. Yep, they're speaking Chinese. So I think there's a huge Indo-Chinese community out here. They were a pretty big part of the culture out here in Indonesia. So that's why you see a lot of Indonesians that have different types of genes and features. Look at this building here, how nice it is. Wow. Not sure if it's like a mall, but I like the architecture. It looks pretty cool. So the other side of the street, I think it's more interesting because I see a lot of markets and outdoor areas. So I'm gonna cross towards that way to see what's going on. Here you see the difference. Look at the vibrant area. Selling peanuts. Oh wow, street food. Yo, it is bustling out here, wow. One of the Grab drivers told me to check it out in the daytime. So I guess in the daytime is when it's busy out here. Look at the colors. Because like I say, Chinese New Year is happening. Oh, they're selling coffee, matcha. What is this? Food. Oh wow, look at this. Looks like it's a little bit spicy, but this is actually awesome. Oh, fruits, hello. So it's a lot to take in. So this is where the action is happening right here in Chinatown. And this side of the road, it keeps going all the way towards where I was coming. I was over there where that building is. And then, like I said, you see a lot of outfits and dresses for the Chinese New Year. But I think it's gonna be in a couple of days. So I wonder they close up the street and they celebrate, what's going on right here. The people, everything, vegetables, fruits. Nice. It's like a lot of colors, man. Look at this. What's this? I walk around this area. It looks like it's a shortcut. But in this shortcut, they have like a huge market happening over here, like vendors and everything. You can see behind me. Or even coffee. It's kind of giving me a vibe like if I'm back in Hanoi in Vietnam. Like a little bit of a similar style. This is awesome, man. I like this Chinatown so far. Vibrant, a lot of people, food. See, there's a lot of action happening. This is what I like to see when I come to a city. Action and culture. And Jakarta has it. And they go all the decorations. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty epic. Over here, Then it's a combination of vendors with street food. Looks like it's all fried stuff. What's this? Clams? Nice. Wow. And over here, it would take me straight back into the sidewalk. So now I'm gonna hop again in the train, and I'm gonna get the stop. I think it's Wanda or Juanda, and there is like a street. I think it's called Pasar Baru, and it's like a main local street, and I think they have like a market out there. Like a local market. This is more local than Chinatown. I've seen a lot of videos of it, so I'm probably gonna walk over that way and cover it. So yeah, I think it's only like a few stops down. I still got money in the tapping card, so I'm gonna try to make my way there, but I gotta cross the street out here first. These are some of the regular streets outside. So pretty different from the area that I'm staying. They got the modern areas and they got the older part of Jakarta, but this is where you see like a real culture and real life. So I think I gotta make like a detour over that way, and this would shortcut me back towards the train station. I like how wide the streets are over here. Like behind me, you see what's going on, but this would shortcut me really straight to the train station instead of going the other way where they're developing the world, so this might make it over here, you know, pretty fast. Look at the traffic jam here. This is crazy, man. How can I cross to the other side of the street? It's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. You can see how local it is, and then it's literally shared like with the motorbikes and everything, so, wow. Hey, friendly people so far. I don't know if I captured, there's a school over here too. Damn, how can I, well, there's an overpassing bridge ahead of me, so that's probably like my best option. Yo, this is insanity. So this is where you see all the craziness of Jakarta, man. I'm trying to figure out how can I cross to the other side. But the traffic over here is like in another type of level, man. This is crazy. I can see, look at the motorbikes. So where the heck am I going, man? I want to make it to the other side. But it looks like it's a local community out here. Look at this, look at the motorbikes. And the cars, yo. And the traffic right here. Total insanity. But I don't think I'm actually safe. Now I just gotta walk the longer way to the other side, man. I would have crossed the other side, but I'm still a little scared when the traffic jam is pretty heavy, so. What's up, sir?
Hello.
Hello. Friendly people, friendly young kids. But yeah, now I can make it towards the other side by the train station. I do one more stop. My battery is literally running low, but hopefully this battery will last me to the other district I want to film. But yeah, like I say, this is totally different than the other, hello. This is totally different than the other areas I was covering, man. But that's the beauty when you explore, you know, you gotta try to go in every angle of the city to see so what's up, man? Friendly people, man. But yeah, let me make it back to the train station and see what's going on. So I made it here to this stop, Juanda. So it's an area called Pasar Baru, and I think it's like a local outdoor shopping district. So I'm gonna figure out my way over there and then walk around the area. Look at this, they even have a little India here. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Never knew it, but hey, I'm not surprised, you know, with the diversity you can find in any other country. But I gotta go this way, and this is where the outdoor district should be. And you can see how nice the street is. Oh wow, they got coffee shops out here. Look at this building, looking pretty nice. So I'm gonna walk one more ahead, and if I make a right, it should take me straight into the local market. And this building's like abandoned, but it's like they renovate this, man. I'll see all the potential. So, you know, they can really renovate all these buildings, and I tell you, it'll be actually top notch. But it's so cool that I can get to many parts, or most of the parts in Jakarta, just using train system, either MRT, KAI commuter, you know, different types of lines. And I could get even outside Jakarta to other areas out here. So that's something that makes the city pretty unique. And that's why I say the city is pretty underrated, because not only everything that it has to offer, but you can travel on a budget, just transporting, you know, a commuter line. But even the Grab is not too expensive like other places. Right here, I like how they have a canal right next to the area. I think where that structure is, that's where the outdoor shopping area is. So I'm gonna go check it out and see what they sell out there. Here should be a structure. Let me see if I can cross the street to get like a better shot of what it looks like. This is it right here. Pasar Baru 1820. It's just like an outdoor area. I think it's like a shopping center. And they got the entrance with the cobblestone. So now we're gonna walk inside and see what this district over here has to offer me. I think in the nighttime is when this area gets pretty busy and packed. But here they sell like instruments, guitars. I don't think cars can pass by, probably a couple of motorbikes, but yeah. It's pretty nice and developed, honestly. Almost missed this area, but I remember, hey, there's a market that I saw a while ago when I Googled Jakarta that I wanted to check it out. So it was this one. I had to Google the name because I didn't remember actually the name. So came out here to explore, and yep. I like the pedestrian area, just mostly like clothes, shoes and outfits. Maybe if I walk a little bit towards the other side, it gets more interesting. Well, this is what you get, you know, like a market. So it seems like there's still a lot of traditional Indonesian clothes out here. Also the shirts for men, I ended up buying 2 Indonesian shirts because I think it looks unique. It's like a colorful button shirt. So they're pretty actually, you know, unique. So I guess it's an area if you want to shop and look good, you come out here to this location. It's actually really humid outside. Woo. It's not too hot, but the humidity here, so I don't want to imagine when it's officially summer. It must be intense, but all the countries over here, they're very hot during the summer. Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia. I came here last April in Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and I tell you, like the heat was just in another type of level. But yeah, most of the options are similar, clothes and everything. But ahead of me is gonna be more interesting because I see like some outdoor setup. So maybe they got like some outdoor, I don't know, street food or maybe some vendors selling, but we're gonna find out when we make it towards that one. And here it gets a little bit more busier. But I do love the architecture that they got going on, like the buildings, the houses. Look at that, looks like they're celebrating Chinese New Year here. They even got like a boba tea spot right here. So it seems like here you can set up the clothes in the sidewalk. Maybe here's where they compete to get discounts and deals. So they sell pants, shirts, everything. One thing I haven't noticed is I think it's called sombok, like the Indonesian hat. Yeah, they have it all in this market. So here's a little bit more tighter once you make it ahead of me. So I ain't gonna lie, they kind of look like sari stores. Similar, like a little bit of that vibe, the colors, the outfit. I guess over here it turns into an outdoor market where they sell t-shirts, souvenirs, anything you want for a good affordable price. You got the tents. I can imagine when it starts raining pretty hard, must be very crazy. And inside here I think it's like an indoor market. So it would be a good idea for me to shelter to get some air condition. Like I said, they got everything and even fruits over here, like dragon fruits. Nice. Oh, this is cool. And then the street ahead of me, it looks like it's pretty interesting too. So it's unstoppable, Jakarta. No matter where you go, there's always a district happening to explore. And now I'm making it outside of Pasar Baru. So just like an area where you catch a scooter and everything, and then like a little local street out here. So I'll show you what's going on. You got the motorbikes and the tuk-tuk, and then you got the major highway. So I guess a lot of people come here, they do their shopping and everything. So a 360 view, and then over here is like the market. I think in 1820 they found it like this right here, so it's pretty cool. So here's kind of like a little busy highway. So I'm just gonna walk back towards the train and head back towards my accommodation. So I think I already explored what I wanted to explore for today. I tell you, it'll take me forever to explore the entire city because it's so massive. This is what you get out here, you know. Just the regular highway and a lot of business out here at street vendor. I think this is like coffee that he sells. That's cool. And over here under the train tracks, seems like they have a community living right here, but they do some street art. Like over here, see, the train passes on top of me, and then there's a neighborhood right here. And little alleyways that you shortcut. That's what I literally did earlier. Just gotta be careful with the motorbikes. But yeah, go, oops. Seems like I'm literally sharing this with the cars. And I'm the only foreigner walking around here. Well, pretty interesting. I just gotta figure out how do I make it towards the entrance of the station. I think it's more ahead of me. And then here, I guess the motorcycle drivers, delivery drivers, they hang out and they get their food over here. This is like a community of people. So it literally has it all here within walking distance. Gojek. There's some guys here cutting cardboards. So people just working hard no matter what. But like I said, I think I've already seen everything, and this is probably gonna be concluding my series of Jakarta, Indonesia. I had a blast in this city and it really blew my mind. And I can't wait to come back out here because I had a good time. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all and peace.